Inside of this video, we're going to be comparing the base PPSh-41 to the base CBR4. I am not including stats for different attachments because I would never make this video if I had to do that, because it would just take me way too much time to gather all that data and this video would be way too long. So we're just comparing the base weapons. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. The first comparison I want to make for these two weapons is going to be the recoil and BSA, aka the accuracy of the two weapons. So what you're seeing on the screen is basically BSA plus recoil. You're able to see the recoil pattern for each weapon, and you're also able to see when you do shoot the gun where the bullets could go. So basically the spread or the bullet spread accuracy. So as you can tell, there is a clear winner between the two weapons here, and that is the CBR4. As you can tell, when you hit about halfway up the target, you have shot 11 bullets, whereas the PPSh is at 9 bullets. So that means the vertical climb of the PPSh is going to be faster than the CBR. And you can also tell the PPSh has kind of a dog leg pattern for its recoil, or a lightning bolt, whatever you want to call it, which basically means that it is much more sporadic and therefore much harder to control, whereas the CBR4 consistently goes up and to the right. I do think the first few bullets kind of go to the left a little bit, but then it's very consistently up and to the right, which means to compensate, all you have to do is pull your thumb or whatever finger you're aiming with down into the left. And if you're looking closely, you can also tell that the bullet spread of the CBR4 is much tighter than that of the PPSh. If we converted that into numbers, we would get a BSA score of 5.97 for the P90 and a BSA score of 4.8 for the PPSh, which, based upon these scores that were provided to me by Dre1, it would mean that the CBR4 has about 25% better bullet accuracy than the PPSh. Also, as I was saying that, I bit my lip really hard and it hurts. So basically, I'm going to be crippled for the rest of this video, so keep that in mind. Following that, we have lethality for the PPSh as well as the CBR4. Quickly diving into the lethality of the PPSh-41, the leg multiplier is 1, the stomach and groin multiplier is 1.1, the upper body is 1.2, and the head is 1.35x. I said X for head only, but it is X for all of them. Basically, it's just how much more damage you're going to be doing to each part of the body. And the fire rate is 820 RPM, which is slightly faster than that of the CBR, which is 800 RPM. And because of this slightly faster RPM, it means that the time to kills are going to be a little bit faster as well for the PPSh, depending on the different shots to kill. So as you can tell with the PPSh-41, the 4-shot time to kill is 220 milliseconds, whereas the CBR4 is 225. So just 5 milliseconds slower for the CBR as opposed to the PPSh. You can also see on the bottom left, I have the ATTK, which is essentially the average time to kill. We're going to get into this a little bit more as we compare the two weapons side by side, but just keep in mind that that basically is just me figuring out what the most average time to kill is going to be at each range. Basically, I'm just averaging out all the different possible time to kills you can get, because obviously there is different damage for different body parts. So I just kind of find what the average is, and that is the ATTK. But going through the PPSh's possible shots to kill on the right side, we can see all of the different damages that we're going to be getting for each range. So from 0 to 10 meters, we're going to be getting 23 damage to the legs. We're going to be getting 25.3 damage to the stomach and groin, 27.6 to the upper body, and 31.05 to the head. And right below that, I list the different shot to kill possibilities and how to achieve that. So from 0 to 10 meters with the PPSh-41, you can basically 4-shot most of the time. The only time you're going to be getting a 5-shot is if 2 of your shots were leg shots. If you hit the leg twice, then you're going to need 3 more shots anywhere on the body to kill, except maybe the head. But how often are you going to be getting 2 leg shots and then hitting headshots after that? So from 0 to 10 meters with the PPSh, it's pretty easy to 4-shot. Just make sure you're aiming for the groin and above, but even if you do get a couple shots to the legs, for the most part, you will be getting that 4-shot time to kill. From 11 to 16 meters, you need 4 of your shots to be either to the body or head. If they hit the stomach, groin, or legs, even 1 shot, you're going to be 5-shotting. So from 11 to 16 meters, you're going to have to be way more accurate in either hitting the orange or red section, or a combination of both, to be getting those 4-shot kills. If even 1 shot hits in the blue or green, you're basically not going to get a 4-shot kill, except again, maybe if you hit some headshots or some really weird thing goes on there. But again, for the most part, you're going to be having to hit the upper body only. From 17 to 23 meters to hit a 4-shot kill, all 4 shots would have to hit the head, no exception. That is the only way you can get a 4-shot kill at this range. Super hard, basically impossible, especially considering the recoil of this weapon. So the thing you're most going to be getting is a 5-shot kill, but you can get a 6-shot kill if all 6 of your shots do hit the legs. Actually, I just did the math again and I realized I slightly did that wrong. It's actually if you hit 5 shots to the legs, then the 6th shot could be anywhere, it doesn't matter. But if you hit 5 shots on the legs, then you're not going to be able to hit a 5-shot because they won't kill. So keep that in mind. Then for 24 meters and above, you're either going to be getting a 5-shot or 6 shots. To hit a 5-shot kill, you need 5 body or head shots, or 2 stomach shots plus 1 headshot plus 2 upper body shots, or a mix that is very similar to that. So kind of difficult to be hitting those 5-shot kills, especially at those long longer ranges where it's going to be very, very hard for you to be that accurate. And again, if you hit stomach shots, you have to hit headshots to compensate, or one headshot rather. So from 24 meters and beyond, you're going to be hitting a 6 shot for the most part. So that is the lethality for the PPSh-41. Now, how does that compare to the CBR4? We do have the TTKs on the left and the ATTK if you want to take a look at that, but what we're going to be focusing on is the right side once again with the different shot to kill combinations. So from 0 to 10 meters to get a 4-shot kill, 1 shot needs to be in the upper body or head, and then the remaining 3 shots could be anywhere you want, on the limbs, on the body, and the head, wherever. Just make sure that you have 1 shot in the upper body or head and you'll 4-shot kill. To 5-shot kill, you need 4+ shots to be limb shots. If you hit the limbs 4 times, then you'll have to get 1 more shot to kill them, which will end up being a 5-shot kill. Which means that from 0 to 10 meters, it is pretty simple to get a 4-shot kill. Although one thing to keep in mind is that the arms are a limb, which means that it does have that 1x multiplier, so you're not going to be gaining any extra damage. And when you're taking a head-to-head fight with someone, they're going to have their arms up, covering their chest, which means it is pretty actually hard to hit those upper body and groin and stomach shots. Or not hard, but it is harder because the hands are covering it. So definitely keep that in mind. Try your very best to avoid hitting the hands or arms and instead be hitting the upper torso. Then from 11 to 16 meters, to get a 4-shot, you need 2 of the shots to be to the upper body or head, and then the remaining 2 shots could be wherever. Otherwise, you'll be 5-shotting if you hit 3 shots to the limbs or more. So very similar to the 0 to 10 meters, but slightly harder. And again, with the hands covering the torso, at this point, it is actually going to be getting more difficult to hit those 4 shots. So a 5-shot kill becomes much more common. Then from 17 to 23 meters, you are either going to 6-shot if you hit 3 limb shots or more. Otherwise, it'll be a 5-shot. So just make sure you're not hitting 3 limb shots. It's fine if you hit 1 or 2, but you need to make sure that a bulk of your shots are going to be going to the abdomen and the head. Then for 24 meters and beyond, to get a 5-shot kill, you would need 2 or more headshots plus 3 upper body shots. So very difficult to hit a 5-shot, essentially. That's all you need to take away from that. Then a 7-shot kill is if you hit 5+ limb shots. So again, be avoiding those limbs. Otherwise, you're going to be hitting a 6-shot. So that's just kind of the average at 24 meters. But obviously at this range with an SMG and all that, you're probably going to be missing a lot of shots and stuff. And so the time to kill at this point really doesn't matter that much. But when you are hitting the bullets, it'll typically take about 6 bullets to kill. So when talking about ease of use with this weapon in terms of where you need to aim and all that, I would say the CBR4 takes a lead a little bit. It is easier to get those faster time to kills with this weapon. But do keep in mind, because of the hands covering the torso, it is not really easy. It's just slightly easier in my opinion than the PPSh-41. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the ATTK chart. Basically, we're going to just be seeing what the average time to kill will be across all the different ranges you would be using these weapons. And I have a little chart that compares them side by side. So when taking a look at this, what you're seeing again is going to be the average time to kills over the different ranges for each weapon. And then on the bottom, I basically compare them so you can see which weapon has a faster time to kill at each range. So for example, if you look on the bottom left, right at 0 meters, it is pink. And as you can tell also, the PPSh is highlighted in pink and the CBR is highlighted in blue, which means that from 0 to 10 meters, the PPSh is faster than the CBR4. As you can tell, 252 is faster than 272 milliseconds. Then from 10 to 11 meters, they actually tie at 272 each, so it's tied. And then after that, you have the PPSh, and then for like 1 meter, you have the CBR, and then once again, the PPSh. So in terms of time to kill, the PPSh is going to be dominating the CBR4 pretty much all the way through. And I said dominate, but to be honest, they're both very, very close, almost entirely through. After that is going to be our miscellaneous mobility stats, including ADS time, sprint to hipfire, mag size, empty reload, tac reload, sprint speed, strafe speed, raise time, and drop time. I highlighted each one in green or red depending on which one beats the other one in each stat. So as you can tell, in terms of mobility, the CBR4 beats out the PPSh in almost all stats. The only one it doesn't is the mag size, and then the drop time, which drop time is basically tied at 300 and 317 milliseconds. Its margin of error means that those could be basically identical, and then the raise time is actually identical at 500 milliseconds. So I kind of think drop time is probably the exact same. I think that one frame difference is probably just, again, user error. In terms of mobility, I would say the CBR4 does take a lead just because of the ADS time and sprint to fire. Everything else is not super important. I guess reload is kind of, but although they are pretty similar, and you're probably not going to be using the base mag with the PPSh. So I wouldn't really take this part of it into account too much, but CBR4 slight lead if you are a big mobility person. If you guys are wondering about the Hipfire, here is a side-by-side comparison. I'm not going to do it on the target because it's kind of hard to do that. We're probably just going to do it right here, and then we'll just aim kind of low. So here we go. Pretty similar. I think it's hard to actually tell a difference. I would say maybe the CBR is a little wider. I don't know, kind of tough. Very similar. Next up is iron sights. I think this one is pretty obvious. Obviously, it can depend on what blueprints you're using, but I think the base iron sights of the CBR4 are significantly better than the base iron sights of the PPSh. This is a personal preference thing, so I'm not going to explain it too much, but I just personally love the feel of the CBR4 iron sights, and I don't want to say despise, but I don't love the iron sights on the PPSh, especially not the Epic blueprint. I hate circle sights, and I don't like the Epic blueprints iron sights at all. So that is all of the stats that I have for you today for the PPSh and the CBR4. I also want to give a massive shout out to Maroy for getting all of these stats and letting me use them. I might have said his name wrong. I'm not sure. I'll put it on the screen right here if you guys want to see. Basically, all I did in this video was just assemble it in a very easy to view manner. But again, Maroy was the one that actually went in the game and tested all this stuff, which takes a lot of time. So big shout out to him once again. But if you guys are wondering about my opinion for each of these weapons, kind of tough for me to say because I think they're really similar and I think it just depends on what you prefer. Hopefully at this point you've heard enough to make a decision on what weapon you would rather use. Again, you could go ahead and just try both weapons and see what one feels better, but now you'll also kind of understand why the weapons feel the way that they do now that you know all of the different stats that are important. But if I had to make a decision on which one I prefer, I would say the CBR4, just for the simple fact that I hate guns that shake like the PPSh does, and I think the CBR4 is just much easier to control, and the time to kill difference is not drastic enough for me to have to go with the PPSh and have to deal with its recoil. I think I'd much rather have a much more controllable weapon with a slightly worse time to kill like the CBR4. Obviously attachments and all this can change things, so that is something to keep in mind. Again, not for this video, but if I had to pick one, I would go with the CBR4. But yeah, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later. Peace.